Oh, this scoring four at home is getting a little bit ridiculous. Three in a row now. Welcome back to Where Blues Walk. We've got loads to get through on this week's episode. Great to have your company back with us. We've, of course, got a very happy Paul to run the rule over that Norwich result. We're going to talk about the brilliance of Dutch and Roberts, and more on that in a second. Plus, we're going to get Paul's view on the Powerhouse Stadium. What do we think to all those chimneys? What do we think to the name? Yeah, and just will Birmingham City fill it, is what the Villa fans have been saying on Twitter. Do we even care, though? Welcome back to Where Blues Walk. Let's talk about the stadium bit first of all, then, Paul. Obviously, it's the hottest news through the club this week. Grand unveiling, very spectacular, impressive. What are your thoughts on it?
I like the idea behind it, the bringing it something about Birmingham into it and the industrial side of it. I'm not sure the chimneys are the way that I would have gone. I don't. When I watched it, I was sat waiting for it to all sort of be unveiled, and it showed us it, and I was a bit not. I was a bit underwhelmed. Maybe I think I was expecting one of these big, grand sort of just a bowl. Basically, is what I was expecting. So like the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or Wembley. So it's a pleasant surprise to see something different, but not what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting great big chimneys sticking out the top of it, and it's not sort of the way I think I would have gone. But I'm the more I see it, the more I think, oh, maybe I do like it, and maybe it's growing on me. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been built, isn't it, for football priority in mind, but we've got to think it's also been built, isn't it, for NFL action, concerts, other events as well. 67,000. I mean, it didn't take the Villa fans too long to jump on board and go, well, you don't even sell out, 26,000 on a regular Saturday. Is are the club going to have to think about how they stage that? 'Cause you're not going to fill 67,000 every weekend, are you?
62,000 is I think the so 62, but we sell out at home most weeks, and we have done for the last since we got relegated. We seem to fill this stadium up now, and I think the Blues show that if the times are there and the football is worth coming to watch, and the owners seem interested, the fans come. We hold records for taking team like crowds to Wembley and things like that. And there's been times where I've watched us go to places like MK Dons, and there's been more away fans than home fans. So I think if the football's there and the structure of the club is right, the Blues fans turn up, and that's what will happen. I think if we have Premier League football in the next few seasons in a 62,000 seater stadium, the Blues fans will do their part.
You'd think that you'd get
I think
you think you
it
get
might
a
not be
fifty
it might not
thousand.
be a sellout every week, but I think it'll be close enough to like at the moment we have. I think our ground is just under 29,000. If you were going to sit just Blues fans in there, we have the segregation that I think we have quite a big segregation because a lot of our fans like to be a bit rowdy, and I think people come to the St Andrews in high spirits as well quite often. So I think we have a big section of the crowd that is segregation. So I imagine that's going to be a case in the new stadium, unless we hide them away somewhere up in the gods like they do at Newcastle. But yeah, I think if there's something to cheer, the Blues fans go and cheer it. Is the way I think it is, and the way I feel like it is.
Yeah.
And I think anyone that wants to be against it is people that either have a club that are not going anywhere, or that pink and blue side down the road that like to pipe up every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, as a neutral, I think it's great. I don't like the chimneys. I think it looks a little bit of a joke, but the principles behind it are good, and you've got an owner there who's you can see Birmingham in the Champions League, can't you? With the vision that he has, and the money that's going to be pumped at it. There's nothing stopping him. I love the ambition. Do you like the name of it?
No, I think the name of it is just American, and I think that's we have an American owner who I think he looks at the picture as, let's do something that gets. Well, I think a big part of our thing in the future is going to be tourism football,
Yeah,
and I think he's doing Amazon documentaries and he's bringing in American corporations and stuff like that. So I think a big part of that stadium could end up being fans from all over the world coming to watch Birmingham City play.
yeah.
So I think
Uh,
a little bit of him goes down that route, thinking, well, let's make it a bit more touristy, let's make it a bit more Hollywood, and get these people involved.
I mean, you've been supporting the club as a young boy. Do you mind all the negative press, if you like? And I mean, you are becoming one of the, dare I say it, the most disliked clubs, not because, of course, the fan base, but because of all the money that's been pumped in and the Americanization of the sport and losing your heritage and losing your roots. So rival fans that have been put forward. Do you get that, and does it bother
The,
you?
the one thing I hate about all football is that to be a successful club now seems to be that you have to be a heartless club, you have to be a soulless club. Man City and places like that. Liverpool, I think I read somewhere that every year they have less season ticket holders because they can make more money by selling to
It does, doesn't it?
tourists and
Yeah,
things like that. But unless you do things like that, you can't compete at the top level. And I think that's the way football is. And I hate it. I quite often turn around to my mates and say, like, we seem to be doing all these things for Amazon and people that want to watch us on, but we don't seem to be doing things for the typical. Like, I can't stand the fireworks. It's just not football for me. It's just not. Like, I remember going down the Blues and, like, you were lucky if your seats weren't soaking wet, let alone a firework went off right in front of you. Like, it is. I remember chasing players down the main stand because there was enough space for you and your mates to run about. There wasn't. So it is. It's just. I think it's just the way football's going, and if you want to be one of the big boys, you've got to do that as well.
okay. Love to know your thoughts in the comments, please. And some proper Blues fans as well. If you're a Villa fan, don't bother commenting, because we'll just delete you. But yeah, great plans. Yeah, just change the name and get rid of a few chimneys. Two
Well,
would be fine, wouldn't it?
I think, yeah, one at each end would have
One at each end's
maybe,
fine. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But I think the name will be changed anyway. I think it will end up being some sort of naming rights of something, and it will end up the Delta Air Stadium at Knighthead Park or something like that, as because he's obviously plans on building a whole sports quarter and things like that. So
yeah. Exciting times to come, though. Let's focus on football matters then, shall we? Sorry, we're recording this before the midweek fixtures, of course, so we're not talking about the West Brom game. We're talking about Norwich. Yeah, another 4-1 this time, of course, not 4-0. Let the one in. Got to talk about Dutch, haven't we? Some player.
he does look like I think now he's settled and he's match fit. He makes. I think he makes the whole difference. I think he gives Stansfield more space to play in, and he's a focal point that you can sort of lump the ball at, and it sticks up there as well when he gets it, and then he can pass, he can shoot. He's not just a big lump, is he? He looks like an actual decent footballer. So I think it helps that he looks quite scary as well sometimes when I look at him. I think he's not somebody I'd want to be faced.
No, true. Yeah. I mean, were Norwich that bad, or were Blues that good?
I think they're in a little bit of a free fall, aren't they? I think is a problem. I think we were as good as they were as bad. I think is the easiest way to. I think we were very good, but I also think that they were quite poor in the same sense. And like they obviously expect to be up at the other end of the table, don't they? And
Yeah,
I think they showed some decent signs of some decent players. I think that Sargent they've got up front, he looks a handful, but I think we dealt with them quite efficiently.
yeah. We need to talk about Patrick Roberts again, if that's all right, because I don't think he gets enough credit personally. Certainly from what I read on forums line, but when I watch Blues games, which I try and do as regularly as possible, he's just, I don't know. I can't tell whether he's a Premier League quality player in the Championship or not. I'd love to see how he'd get on if you were promoted. I still think he could do a job at Sunderland, but what do you reckon?
I think he could do a job at the lower end of the Premier League. He's very direct. He gets the ball in where you want it to be. He's not afraid to have a run at a player. Like he's out on the right wing, but he's left-footed, so he likes to have a little cut inside. I think he'd be a handful for most left backs or right backs, whoever he was running at. I think he'd do a job there. I think he's a bit of a throwback. I think he likes to just beat his man and get the ball across. There's no messing about. He just does his job.
And Doyle as well.
Doyle, I think Wolves are. There's rumours that Wolves are going to take him back in January, and I think if they didn't, they'd be stupid because he looks miles ahead of it in this league. He picks up the ball and he looks 3 or 4 moves ahead of anyone else and he makes passes. And sometimes you feel like his pass don't come off because the other players aren't on his level, and not that he's made a bad pass, that they're not where they're meant to be.
Yeah.
So I think I think if we could get him for 10 million, like it's been touted, we'd be getting a steal. We'd really build a team around him, I think.
Okay. 2 big games then coming up this week. Busy period for all of us, isn't it? The Christmas period. First of all, we've got West Brom on Wednesday, I think, and Watford coming on Saturday. First of all, in terms of the relationship between you and West Brom, I mean, you'll both be stood up singing, "Stand Up If You Hate the Villa" at some point in the game, I'm sure. Where is the love-hate or the rivalry with Baggies?
I might upset a few West Brom fans here because I dislike them like I dislike every other team in the Midlands, but I also dislike every other team in the country. If it isn't Birmingham, it's not. I'm not bothered.
You must prefer either Wolves or West Brom over the other.
Yeah, I hate the Wolves. I hate the Villa. Maybe I mildly dislike the Baggies. The thing that bothers me about them is we hate the Villa. And a lot of their fans, maybe a lot of our fans too, seem to try and be like, "Oh, well, we're mates because we both hate the Villa." And I just think, no, I hate you as well. I hate the Villa and I hate you too. I don't get it. It's not something I buy into. I just don't. I want to beat them as much as I want to beat everyone else.
Okay. Well, we're speaking to the West Brom fans, of course. They've got no love for Birmingham either, so that makes it feel better. They've been looking forward to this fixture since the start of the season, so yeah, it's their derby this year, of course, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll be reporting back on that game next week. We're talking the A to Z, of Birmingham City. We're up to letter G, so stand by for the one player you think should get in there. We're also talking about dodgy goalkeepers this week as well. We've seen a few howlers come up in the Championship recently, so it's got us thinking. What's the worst goalkeeper you've ever had play for Birmingham City? We know we've talked about Enkelman, who got in the A to Z, who you've seen play, but who in a blue shirt, Paul, for you, has been that one keeper that, when the ball's coming in for a corner, you just know it's gonna be a drop or it isn't gonna come for it?
I think Bailey Peacock Farrell last season is fresh in the mind. I think is the one that a lot of people will say because he was so recent. Richard Kingston we had for a bit, and I think he was in a Blues top was quite ropey, and then we pulled out Andy Marriott out of retirement. I think it was for one game, and Robbie Keane nicked the ball off of him. He threw the ball down, and Robbie Keane nicked it off and scored. And that was his only ever game for the Blues.
I remember that. Yeah, okay.
I think that turns up in every bloopers DVD of people get for Christmas for years and years. I think they're the ones that spring to mind straight away. I think we've always been all right with goalkeepers. We've had Ben Foster and Mike Taylor and Joe Hart. I think going back to Ian Bennett when I was a kid, we've always seemed to have a safe pair of hands. So
let us know in the chat if you can think of any others. We'll read some of these out next week. Right then, Paul, who gets in your A to Z for the letter G for Blues?
I think there's only one, and it's Martin Granger. I think he gets in. He's just been voted in at left back in the Blues all-time 11. So I think he's one of my all-time favourite Blues players. So He gets in there without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Better left foot than David Beckham had a right one.
Yeah. There's not many that can argue that. So let us know some of your shout outs. So honourable mentions in the comments as well. We'll read some of these out next week. Right, Paul, thank you very much. Enjoy your trip to the Hawthorns on Wednesday night. Behave yourself, and we will see you back, hopefully, nice and safe, next Sunday, when, of course, we'll look back as well at the Watford game as well. The table is very tight at the moment. We could be sat here next week talking about Blues being anywhere from 3rd to 17th. Is that tight? So fingers crossed it's the former rather than the latter.
We'll be calling for Avis out again next week. So.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate all your comments and all your love. Do drop us a subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Catch you next week.